is teach email marketing straight from my smartphone. I think that this is really the easiest and the funnest way for me to teach because I can actually see what I'm saying, and so can the viewers on YouTube. And later on, I can always edit this video recording and this transcript to make it better. But I think that this is really the optimal, the most enjoyable way for me to teach email marketing. So I would summarize email marketing as a game that consists of three major games. Number one, lead generation or list building. You've got to get their email address. Whatever it takes, you've got to get their email address. Number two, you've got to create content that informs them, educates them, advises them, makes recommendations, gives them more value, more free gifts, invites them to events, interactive events, or pre-recorded events. And number three, you've got to convert all these wonderful people into paying customers because that's when you have a real relationship. But before you can convert them to paying customers, you've got to build trust, and that can take some time, or it can take a lot of creativity. Okay, there are many ways to build trust. It doesn't have to take a long time, especially if you spent a long time creating a gift. So either way, it's going to take time. Either you take time to create amazing gifts that will make them feel that you're on their side, or you take the time to build a relationship over time in a matter of weeks, for example. So email marketing traditionally or statistically has proven to generate a return on investment of 40x or 44x. It means that for every dollar that you put into email marketing, you're going to generate on average $40. But that's for players who have been around for a while. So at the beginning, you should not have such high expectations, but you should know that if you do everything right, then you are heading in the right direction for generating a high return on investment. And the important thing is to identify the mistakes that you're making along the way so that you can correct them and you can optimize your email operations all the time. Of course, it is best if you have a teacher or a consultant look over your shoulder and tell you everything that you're doing wrong so you don't have to learn through trial and error. But the good news with email marketing is that you can see from your metrics and your key performance indicators where you're failing, where you're coming short of the expected results. So you're always getting feedback from the marketplace, from different stakeholders, whether they're prospects, customers, suppliers, investors, talents, etc. So email marketing is not just for getting new customers and retaining them. It's for communicating by email, which is the most convenient form of communication online, the most convenient form of communication online. You're communicating by email with all kinds of stakeholders, meaning that everyone and anyone that has anything to do with your business, you can communicate with them effectively and efficiently through email communications. Okay, so the first game is lead generation. Lead generation. So how do you get people's name and email address? The easiest way is to provide enormous value. For example, a big discount if you're a major retailer and you have an established brand name and reputation. Or you can create a lead magnet, which is a free gift, a resource, an ebook, a webinar, a video course, etc. Something that members of your target market would appreciate, and therefore they will accept to give you their email address, their precious email address, and their name, and sometimes their phone number. But the phone number should not be required. It should be optional. And the purpose of asking for their phone number is that you can identify the people who really trust you and who are serious, and therefore they are qualifying themselves as a high probability prospect. In other words, there's a higher likelihood that they're going to convert to being a paid customer, and therefore you should prioritize communicating with them as opposed to other people who do not give you their phone number. Okay, So that's lead generation. That's how you build an email list. And even before your product or your service is 100% ready and finalized, you should start building your list because it does take some time. The second game is content creation. And this is where you have to really understand the customer journey of of the people who buy your product. Like, how do they become aware that they have a problem, and when they're searching for information, where do they go, and what kind of information would be helpful to them in making a purchasing decision. So this is where you try to insert yourself into their purchasing journey so that you can help them. So you have to identify the information that they're looking for, and you have to look for that information yourself and format it in a way that is pleasant visually and that is really informative and objective. And then, you can put all that information in a series of email newsletters or series of emails so that you build trust. And you're building trust because you're helping them to make the best purchasing decision ever. And finally, the last game is sales conversion, where you're making a special offer, a very special offer only for subscribers, an offer that they cannot refuse. So the purpose of this initial offer is not to make a profit, although you could. The purpose is really to get them on board to become a customer on your list so that you can take care of them. Now, not all of your subscribers will convert to being a paying customers, but a percentage of them will, and therefore, you can start a deeper relationship with them. So in a nutshell, that's what email marketing is all about. It's 3 games: lead generation, content creation and engagement, and sales conversion. And we're going to take a look in future videos on how you can develop mastery in each of those games. But at the beginning, what you might want to do is focus on one game and outsource the other 2 games to partners or external firms that are very good at what they do. So for example, instead of building a list, you can maybe rent a list from a database company, or you can strike a cross promotion partnership with a company that is already serving customers that you're looking for, and you ask them if you can make a special offer to their list, and they will get 20% of sales. And they're likely to accept if your product is good, and if you're a legitimate company and you prove yourself to be a reliable partner, you are transparent, you provide all the information. So that's an easy way to have access to somebody else's list of customers so that you don't have to build the list yourself. In terms of content creation, same thing. You can borrow content from other content providers, including your competitors, so that you don't have to create the content yourself. You can format it and add your own twist to make it fit your particular brand or your style or your tone or your personality, but you don't have to create the content from scratch. It exists out there. You just have to find a creative way to reformat the content so that it fits your particular audience. And finally, sales conversion. I think that this is where you really have to do the selling yourself. And after a while, you will have developed a sales procedure that works reliably and predictably and is consistently performant. And so you can outsource that sales procedure or that sales closing method to other external players, including salespeople who are working strictly on commission, what we call closers. So as you can see, when you break down email marketing into these 3 major processes or games or functions, then you know exactly what you have to do. What you have to focus on. The important thing is that you have to use your creativity in accomplishing these 3 results. The first result is a lead, in other words, the email address and a name. The second result is content that you can put out there through your email newsletter. And you can also reuse and repurpose that content on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. And lastly, the third result is you've got to have a sale. So you have to do whatever it takes to get people to join you as a regular customer. And once they are a regular customer, then you treat them as VIPs and you make them more offers. but it's usually easier to sell to an existing customer because they trust you already and they're satisfied with your initial offer or your initial product.